It's time for your fan weather forecast brought to you by Habish, and Rotier. Some rain expected this morning, and then it should be cloudy for a while with more rain possible this early evening. Today's high is 74 degrees. It's currently 63 degrees here in Milwaukee.
I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the cut, lights go up from home. Whoa!
That's a shot into left center field. Vaughn's going to end up at third base. At least he might get a chance to score as it goes all the way to the wall. Vaughn will be waved around third. He will score, and it's a 2-1 ball game. Vaughn into right center, falling fast. McCarthy can't get it. It's going to go all the way to the wall. Contreras around third base. He's going to come around and score. Vaughn chugging his way for third. He is there. First pitch hammered out to left field. It is way back, and the Kraken rises from the depths of the sea. Ground ball first base side and through. Terang comes up with a 2-run single. Sanchez rips one down in the corner in left field. Contreras will jog around third and score. Vaughn will stop at third base. And he drives one to center. Back goes McCarthy. Still back. He leaps. It's off the top of his glove and off the wall. 1-run scores. Sanchez lumbering around third to score. Mitchell ends up at third base with a 2-run triple. Struck him out. The ball game is over. The Brewers have swept the Rockies in Denver for the first time since 2014.
Good teams beat bad teams. That's what Tim Allen said with us on Friday here on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, and it turns out that the Brewers are a good team. It wasn't always pretty, but they got the job done. They sweep the Rockies. Good morning and happy Monday to the whole state of Wisconsin, and welcome into another Trevorless Monday. That's right, it's Monday and Trevor's not here. Are you shocked?
Is this a trend?
I think we've learned we shouldn't be. It is a trend. It is absolutely a trend. We'll get you all caught up. That voice is Aaron Morse, the new guy. He's the new guy.
Yep.
We are completely just throwing you into the fire, making you get up and do a morning show this early. You can send all of your letters to Sparky on that one. But we're coming to you live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We're looking forward to a fantastic show. We're going to have Andy Herman on, talking Packers and more in the 8 a.m. hour. And all of you joining us throughout the show on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. It's going to be a lot of fun. Aaron, the way that we start things every day is by playing a little bit of catch-up.
Packers.
All right, so the Packers news from the day was simply, or the weekend, I should say, was simply that they played a softball game. That was the big
news. Big news. Huge news.
Huge news. So we're going to overanalyze that for a minute because why the heck not? So first of all, looks like this year's Jordan Love charity softball game, which was the Donald Driver charity softball game for those old enough to remember. And this year it was the offense versus the defense, and Micah Parsons, the team captain of the defense team. And that was the biggest takeaway for me, was that Micah was out there running around. I saw multiple videos of him like chucking ground balls to get guys warmed up.
Taking it seriously.
Which, Aaron, listen, I don't know how familiar you are with professional athletes, but I can tell you, especially from hanging out with our coworker, John Kuhn, they're competitive with everything. It doesn't matter what it is. They want to win,
it's
no
a good
matter
thing
what.
To see him making pitching changes after a guy gives up a home run or rifling ground balls to his infielder. That's good to see. If he wasn't doing that, then maybe I'd be a little worried.
He was frustrated. Because the defense was getting their butts kicked.
Yeah, they were.
I think one of the biggest things, though, and the thing that made everyone go, okay, all right, hold on a sec, was when he went in the game. So then he goes in the game. He's pitching. I mean, there's the net, right, covering the pitcher so that they don't get beaned at all. But you saw him like running to first to cover a play, and I see him like, taking steps to throw those grounders, and I'm like, all right.
Do you think
easy?
Do you think he was cleared by the Packers to do that? Like, do you think like going in there, like, yeah, if you want to go out there and pitch a little bit or jog to first, you can do it? Or do you think he maybe took a little bit of some liberty there?
I mean, I'm sure that the Packers were well aware of everything. They might not have known specifics. I doubt there was like a whole laundry list of things. Look, we've seen through the whole time that Micah Parsons has been injured, we've seen him do a bunch of stuff. Do you remember at the Pro Bowl, whatever game they had? He was out there on a scooter, driving around.
Yeah, he was.
And so he's been all over the place. I think the biggest thing is, and rightfully so, I think we're just a little nervous because we need him to be okay. And we forget that at this point, if he's not far enough along to be able to lob a softball,
right?
What does that mean for him when 300-pound men are falling on his knee?
If he can't do a little PFP covering first base in a charity softball game, we probably have more to worry about than us worrying about him getting hurt doing that.
Exactly. And then beyond that, Jordan Love was asked questions, which I would play the audio for you, but it's literally awful. Like
it's awful.
It's the worst audio possibly I've ever heard. They're all interviewing him as everyone is like screaming for autographs and everything else. But he was asked about the Christian Watson extension. He said, I know the work Christian puts in. I know the work he's going to continue to put in. He's very deserving of it. So, I mean, a very boilerplate answer, but one that you'd absolutely expect from his QB. And yeah, that essentially was the big takeaway Packers-wise from the weekend. Mandatory minicamp starting this week, which to me, I'm just like, okay, the big focus is that we're checking boxes getting to the start of the season, right? Like we had OTAs. Okay. Mm-hmm. What's after that? Oh, minicamp. Okay, great. Now we got minicamp. The only thing that I could tell you, I guess, that I'll be looking at just based on OTAs is for Smack to be making some field goals. That's about it. That's the only thing
maybe I'm
really looking at.
Maybe I'm a downer, but I don't care too much about OTAs, mandatory minicamp, right? It's fun to see, the 5 offensive linemen that are out there first together, or the 3 wide receivers who are, that stuff is kind of interesting for about 5 to 10 seconds. And then it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And you move on. There's some stuff you can take away, but I think for nowadays it's a little hard to take away big overarching things. So I don't know what I'm looking for, but it's probably just some health. Just looking for guys to get through the week, probably for me.
Right, which is always like this was the same thing with spring training for the Brewers. I brought this up 100 times on the show, but when we were looking forward to the season and what to expect in spring training for the Brewers, and we talked to Lane Grindle and everyone, and they were all like, just to be healthy, just come out of camp healthy. I'm going.
It sounds lame.
Is that? Makes it feel like, why are we even doing it?
Yeah.
If the only thing we're looking for is health. Obviously, they have to. But, yeah, that and some field goals being made. Also, I personally am going to still be looking for what's happening next with the Josh Jacobs thing. Every time Josh Jacobs is there, I feel like there are going to be questions or things waiting for. But
he's going to be there this week, right?
I mean, he should be, absolutely. Although, I'm interested to see if I'm alone in that boat of the whole Josh Jacobs story. We're going to talk about that coming up in the next segment. And I have questions about just, are we done with the whole, as fans, with the whole idea of what's next with Josh Jacobs? It's very interesting how that story has progressed. We will get to that coming up next. But first, go Brewers.
Brewers.
Man, the Brewers needed this sweep, Aaron, of the Rockies. I know that they're ahead. It's not like this was going to be a make or break series, but coming out of that Giants series at home, losing the last 2 to split it, just kind of felt it felt icky. It felt like kind of gross.
You come into this set, you go Giants, Rockies, A's, and you're like, oh wow, okay, 3 teams that you should beat, right? You think, okay, win 3 out of 4 against the Giants, maybe 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3, and you go 7-3 in a 10-game span. But then you lose 2 to the Giants, 1-0 and 12-9, where you have the tying or go-ahead runs on base or at the plate. And it's like, man, probably could have swept the Giants. Probably could have taken for sure 3 out of 4, should have. But then sweeping the Rockies kind of resets that, and you're like, all right, they're where they're supposed to be right now. Well,
and on top of that, you also looked at the rotation and who they were going to be putting out there. When the Brewers finally came out and said, all right, here's our lineup, our rotation, starting 5 predicted for the next 5 games, and you're going, oh boy, all right, we got some names in there. I don't know how I feel about this. And then it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, especially on Friday. That I literally I put on my Twitter, that was the most painful win I could remember.
I just call it Brewers baseball. I mean, that's
but I hate that.
Yeah, but it's just the way they play, and it's the way that they have played really maybe since 2018 you can say, but I would say since 2020. It's just the way they've played, where they are just all over the place. And usually they end up winning the all over the place games because that's just what they do. And that's Brewers baseball.
Yeah, I think
but it is frustrating
being and we'll get to it a little bit later in the show as well, and the good, the bad, the ugly from the weekend. But the blowing of the save, another blown save from McGill, you're going, oh, you got to be kidding me. And then Ashby comes out, and then Ashby's not pitching well to start. And you're like, what is happening? I think there were just a lot of things there that added the frustration, but they win, and they also become the fastest team in Brewers franchise history to win 40 games. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw that stat, I went, "How?
Yeah, like what?
How is
that's
this
my
team
reaction? What
the first? You think about where we were looking and feeling about this team in April.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know they had a great May. They had a great May, best May in baseball. They did not. We were very frustrated with this team in April.
They were in last place in the division.
And so it's very interesting to me that they were this team was the fastest to 40, but I'm here for it. I just wonder how much at this point of that is just scheduling. I think
they've played American League a lot early on in the season, and the American League is not good. And they've struggled against, the Dodgers and the Padres a little bit, but then they've, swept the Yankees, and they've beaten good teams, but then they get crushed by some good teams. And I guess maybe that's just baseball at some point. Yeah. But to win 40 out of your first 63 games, I don't care what team you are. If you're doing that, you're a good team.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing things right. And I think the big thing to take away is that if this is the team as it sits right now, that is the fastest to 40, knowing that they have problems. They've still got some injury problems. They've got pitching rotation problems for sure. Then hell yeah. Then just you're doing what I would consider Brewers baseball of just getting through it.
Surviving.
You're just they're more than any other team. The Brewers might be the best team at just getting through it. Whenever there's a hardship, they claw their way through and look better on the other side. It's impressive.
I'm glad to be rooting for this team instead of looking at from the outside as a Cubs or Cardinals or Pirates or Reds fan or Dodgers or whoever in the National League. Can you imagine how annoying it would be if you weren't a Brewers fan?
Trust me.
To watch Blake Perkins go out there and not have a hit since Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And have a bunt single, and then the Rockies walk Joey Ortiz with the bases loaded, a guy who doesn't know how to hit with the bases loaded. I mean, I would just be watching. I watch right now and think, what the heck is going on? What are these teams doing? You can't let Blake Perkins and Joey Ortiz get on base back to back, So it's I still watching this team and kind of like, what am I watching? But it works. So I guess we can't complain too much.
It's working for now. And we'll absolutely take it. Which brings up the point of, is what's going to happen in Madison going to work? Let's go to the Badgers.
Badgers.
All right. So still waiting to find out who the heck's going to be the AD there in Madison. But in the meantime, they're getting some commitments here. We're getting some guys.
Yeah, Luke Fickell is doing a nice job for this 2027 class. So not guys that you'll see this year, but he's already working for 2027. They're up to 21 recruits in the 2027 class. Then they went to town over the weekend. Yazin Zion, a 4-star defensive lineman, has committed to Wisconsin. He chose Wisconsin over Oklahoma and LSU. So big bad SEC teams are going after this defensive lineman, and Luke Fickell kind of stuffs him in a locker, stuffs Lane Kiffin right in a locker, and takes Yazin Zion away from him. Steele Harris is a 3-star wide receiver, a bigger body, deep threat kind of guy. He committed to the team. He's the second commit of the 2027 class, and he chose Wisconsin over some smaller schools, but some schools that are maybe at the point of Wisconsin or kind of around them in terms of like Iowa State, Illinois, and a lot of others. And then Darren Graham is a 3-star edge rusher. He also committed to the Badgers over the weekend. Some bigger schools: Ole Miss, big SEC team; Minnesota, rival; Kentucky, another SEC team. So the Badgers, 3 guys, one of them a 4-star defensive lineman, and I think they get a good job. I think a lot of times when I look at Badger recruits, I look at maybe not 3-star, 4-star, or even their high school stats, but like, what are the other teams that are going after these players? And when I see Oklahoma, LSU, Ole
that's
Miss,
a big deal.
Minnesota, right? That's how you kind of gauge what kind of prospect these guys could be.
I got to say, though, I do find it funny that this is the news coming out for Fickell, knowing that in the back of our minds, we're all thinking, you going to be here in 27?
Yeah, is he going to be there for these recruits? Are they going to be coming in at all?
This is the year for him. He's got to prove something here. I mean, like a lot. He's got to prove a lot here. I think everyone is in agreement. The only reason why he might even still have a job is because they can't fill jobs at Madison currently.
Well, yeah, I don't know what's going on with the athletic director, or how that's going. I guess for now this is kind of the downtime, so it doesn't matter as much because it's June and not August or September, I guess, but you got to figure it out soon, because
you could give the new guy a little bit of time to get settled in before it gets hot and heavy.
You don't want August 10th to come around. Oh, hey, we found an athletic director.
Oh, great.
Oh, great. We play in 2 weeks in Lambeau Field.
Yeah.
Like, you should probably give him like a month, or her a month to 2 months of ramp up time when it's a little bit down, so they can kind of get their bearings. So I guess we'll see. But yeah, Luke Fickell, to your point, these guys might not even have Luke Fickell as a coach. And you know what? These guys might not even continue as Badgers in 2027. In this world, they could just go commit to somewhere else if they want.
So which makes a commitment of what? It's just like
fun. I get fun for 15 minutes.
Hey, how about that? That's about that. What I'd like to know is what the Bucks are going to do, and if they're committing to Giannis or to Miami.
Bucks.
I've been dying, Aaron, to just see some other team mentioned in the Giannis sweepstakes. I think, listen, I don't know how much you've watched or listened to the show, but I'm a huge Giannis fan. I love him. He's my favorite forever. However, I'm also very much understanding that the odds are that he's not going to be here. They're going to trade him. Forever it was, no one wants to be the bad guy. To me, it's become very clear that Haslam stepped in and said, I'll do it. I don't care. I'll be the bad guy. And that the Bucks, it would seem, want to move on from Giannis. I think that the Bucks also assumed that there was going to be a lot more based on the trade, the before the trade deadline. There's going to be a lot more teams
with a lot better offers.
Well, I mean, all you need for a better offer is a bidding war.
That's true. Yeah.
And all I'm seeing is Miami. And I'm going, if it's just Miami, then what's the other option?
Every
it's
time,
just if Giannis stays.
Yeah, as I'm getting older and I'm understanding the world of sources and media and insiders more and more, every time I think, okay, why is this information getting leaked? Because guys like Adam Schefter and Jeff Passan and Shams Charania, they're only getting reports because people are telling them reports, right?
Sure.
So why is Miami the only team getting reported? Is it because they are
would
the
make
only
you think
team,
they're the only team,
or are they the only ones leaking out their information, hey, this is what we're offering, to put more pressure on the Bucks, whether that's fan base or
I would love to believe that, Aaron, but I'm talking about even like the B and C level sources, the made up stuff.
Yeah.
Just even the hypothetical, you can't believe it. Twitter post, hey, I've got big sources saying that it's like, hey, the Celtics are in on just something. There's nothing out there. It's literally just been like, I thought Portland for a while was, Portland's this mystery team. That seems to have all dried up.
So why does no one want Giannis? Because to me,
it's a great question.
The Magic gave up 5 first-round picks for Desmond Bane, and the Timberwolves gave up 4 or 5 first-round picks for Rudy Gobert, and the Knicks gave up 4 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. I can tell you what, Giannis is better than all those players combined. So
my guess is that the teams, I think my guess is the teams that want him also are in a position to where they know they can't beat Miami's offer. And that makes you go, okay, well,
I find it hard to believe. But
you're right. Like Golden State before the trade deadline was right there with Miami. There were multiple teams. A lot of people thought once OKC was eliminated, they might throw their hat in the ring. Nope. It's just so we still have 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Before the draft?
Yeah. Yep.
So if we really do get this done before the draft, we still have a couple of weeks. But it's not looking good if you don't want him to go to Miami.
Rumors should be ramping up.
There should be more heat.
Yeah.
So that's a little frustrating, but we will continue to wait. And please, if anyone sees some BS or truthful source out there that says that he's going anywhere but Miami, please.
Please. If Giannis's name is in it and there's an NBA team attached,
that's not the Heat.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Anything else?
Yeah, there's a lot of other stuff. First of all, Golden Tempo won the Belmont Stakes, so there's a chance at the Triple Crown. I don't know if you follow horse racing at all. I do not. I do not at all. I spend about 10 minutes on the day of the race, and that is just the Kentucky Derby.
You look at the horses, the names, and the odds, and you're like, oh, that's a cool name, and those are decent odds.
I only do that for the Derby.
Okay.
The only reason why I'm even bringing up the news of the Belmont Stakes is because Golden Tempo won. And so having a chance at a Triple Crown makes you go, oh, okay. Hey, there could be a Triple Crown.
Have you ever thought about naming a horse?
Ooh, good question.
If you own one of these horses.
I did. What did we actually did this on the show.
Okay.
It was something in regards to Trevor. I can't even remember.
We'll have to go back into the archives.
Yes. Yeah. Do you have one?
I don't.
Oh,
I don't know if I'm creative enough to come up with a clever name.
See, you say clever name. How many of these names of
that's true. They're not very clever. They're just kind of random.
Whatever. It can be whatever. I don't know how this. And here's the other thing too. It's not like they just named these horses, right? Think about all the horses that are bred that then don't make it. They all have to have a name, right? You don't just name them before they go to the Derby.
Wasn't there in the Kentucky Derby, wasn't like every horse a descendant of Secretariat?
Yeah, they've been saying that forever. Like the lineage can go.
So is that
back?
That's insane.
He's becoming like the Adam and Eve.
Do any other horses exist?
No, it all started with Secretariat.
None of them had any baby horses in their life. Only Secretariat.
Nope, just Secretariat. The other thing, and I can absolutely say this because Trevor's not here. Man, the Stanley Cup is kicking the crap out of the NBA Finals.
He's not a hockey fan.
No, he was the one that came out and said that he hates the NBA. He doesn't like watching the NBA. He barely watches Bucks games, but he watches Bucks games because they're a Wisconsin sports team. And so he was like, man, if you're trying to watch a good playoff atmosphere, you should be watching the Stanley Cup Final, not the NBA Finals.
Gotcha.
Which I was like, yeah, the Stanley Cup Final is great too. But it is kicking the crap out of the NBA Finals. We've had overtime in every game. And while I do think it would have been more fun if the Hurricanes won that first game, I mean, you're getting the home crowd getting into it. That game 3 in Vegas was
These are
amazing.
Some of the best 3 games you could get for the first 3 games of Stanley. This might be the greatest start to a Stanley Cup Finals ever.
It's crazy to me too that even though that's the case, it's not going to make me like dive deeper into hockey.
Agree.
I don't know what the sport of hockey could do that it hasn't already done. It patriotism with the Olympics and us kicking the crap out of Canada a bunch and winning gold in the Olympics. I was like,
Listen, I
hell
watched
yeah,
them.
hockey.
Yeah.
Now the Stanley Cup final has been amazing. It's been intense going into overtime. Awesome. I promise you, as soon as this is done, I'm not thinking about hockey for a minute. I'm just completely, I don't know what it is. I just can't latch on to hockey.
I follow hockey at a very minuscule level. Like I can follow on like, okay, this team's good. This team's, playing well and these players are good. These are the top players in the league and they're having a good season. But outside of some very peripheral type of stuff, I just can't get into the regular season. I think a lot of it is there's just other stuff that I would prefer to watch. And when you get to the postseason, playoff hockey is electric. I think it's the best jump in terms of like my interest rate from regular season to postseason.
Sure.
It skyrockets. NHL postseason is awesome.
But then when it's done,
but I also think the NBA postseason is awesome. And I think it has a huge jump in effort. Guys in the regular season, I mean, you're seeing teams hardly score 100 a lot of the times in the postseason. Teams are scoring 120 with ease on any given night. So, like, teams and players are trying much harder in the NBA postseason as well. And so it's not just the NHL. Like, it's a big jump if in this conversation. The NBA is really fun to watch this year. It's just right now the finals aren't living up as much to the
no, because the Spurs keep blowing it.
Yeah.
The Spurs have blown it. They're down 2-0 to the Knicks, which game 3 now going to be tonight, right? And the president in attendance. There's been tons of stories about watch parties being canceled and things of that nature. And I'm going, man, just let me know if it gets to game 7 at this point. Like, that's where I've been with the NBA finals. I've been pretty disappointed.
Is the extender on the game? Is he reffing the game tonight?
I don't know.
Okay. Well,
I don't know.
I would guess he probably is because the Knicks win tonight.
I know. And the NBA would like money. They would like money. So more games is good for the NBA.
It's over. I mean, no team ever in the NBA 3-0. I mean,
right.
I thought the Spurs would run away with this. I thought they were going to win it in 5.
Yeah, I thought so too.
But man, I mean, they're going to lose. If the Spurs lose tonight, they're going to lose so many viewers for game 4 and 5 and even 6 if it gets that far.
Yep. No, that's you're 100% right. And it's disappointing, especially because I wanted it to be a great series just so that I could rub it in Trevor's face and go, see, basketball's great. And now the Spurs are just letting me down. Well, it happens. It absolutely happens. All right, coming up next, I have questions. And this is where I want some participation from you guys. We got Aaron, the new guy, in here. Ask Aaron a question. You want to ask him a question? I don't care what it's about. Text it in. Nicolay Law Fan Talking Text line 414-677-1250. Otherwise, the question I have for today is going to be about Josh Jacobs, and it's going to be, are we done worrying about what happens next for Josh Jacobs? Very, very interested to get everyone's opinion on that. We will do that when we come back on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Josh and Aaron today, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
When things just don't add up, Trevor and Josh ask the hard questions or just point out how messed up stuff is.
I only have one question.
Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
Do you view this season as a failure?
You asked me the same question last year.
What's the most important question the Badgers have to answer Saturday?
This is a great question. Oh my God, this is a great question.
It's time for I Have Questions, presented by Capital Credit Union, doing the right thing on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
That's right. It's time to ask and answer questions here on Inside Wisconsin Sports. Today with Josh and Aaron. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I Have Questions is brought to you by Capital Credit Union in sports and in life. The right partners matter. At Capital Credit Union, they are there for you every step of the way. Capital Credit Union, doing the right thing. I'm looking for all of you. We got the new guy. Aaron's new. Sparky is putting him just out there and saying, nope, you go here. You do the afternoon show. You do the morning show. You go here. You go there. Welcome to the morning show, Aaron. I want the Nicolay Law fan talking text line. You got a question for Aaron? Fire it in. In the meantime, when those are coming in, my question today is about Josh Jacobs. And the question is, are we as a fan base just done with this story? I'm looking at this 2 weeks ago, right? It was like 2 weeks ago when the news broke that he was being charged, criminal charges were being brought against Josh Jacobs. A week and a half later, it's business as usual. He's back at camp. Charges are dropped. But they were criminal charges. There's been no next piece of communication from the district attorney's office. Nothing. It's just kind of been, okay, we're done. We're moving on. From the Packers standpoint, I completely understand that this is kind of what you have to do, right? You have a guy in your family. He's a leader in that locker room. He's a leader in your team. You need to have him there if there's not a reason that you can't have him there. But I feel like from a fan standpoint, I'm looking at this and I'm going, are we really just going into minicamp going, I don't know, I guess the biggest headline is just that Trey Smack missed some field goals in OTAs. Is that it? Are we really saying to ourselves, I'm done with this? I can't do it. In my brain is going, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for that next thing to come out that goes, oh, new evidence. There was this new piece of evidence. Oh, there could be something else happening. Like, I just don't see this case being closed. I'm waiting. Maybe there's a piece of communication that's going to be coming. But as it sits now, I'm still looking at this as a story, and I feel like the rest of the world's moved on.
Okay, so I think for me, it can't be a story. I don't know if I've moved on, but I've just kind of, maybe ignored is the wrong word, but I've just kind of ignored it for now because there isn't anything new. I mean, it's been just under 2 weeks since he was released.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they are still investigating and trying to figure out what actually happened.
Like, that's my thing. Are they, Aaron?
Okay, so I'm not a huge legal person here. But
okay, I can help you with this. I watched the show Suits.
There we go.
I'm very familiar with the law. Yes.
Okay. So if they find nothing and they're like, all right, this is kind of a nothing burger, there's a little dispute, but nothing really happened. Are they coming out and saying that, the DA? Or do they just kind of, or is there nothing on them to come out and say, yeah, there's nothing here?
I feel like if they think that there still might be something, they stay silent until then they go back and they arrest him for charges based on new evidence, right? Because the last thing we heard from the DA's office was, we're releasing him. We need to do our due diligence before bringing these charges forward. The charges that were placed were by the arresting officer or the officer that would have arrested him if he was there. And so that's where the warrant came out and everything else. We got to do our due diligence. We're letting him go. Okay. We haven't heard anything.
So I guess
if we heard something, I think we would have at this point, and that's what I'm waiting for. Is
do
for
they have
that
to tell us they found nothing, or do we just assume that?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know that you can just go forever.
Yeah,
saying
like they have
nothing,
to have some statement like we have investigated and nothing is coming from this, you know,
or you could even put out a statement saying after further review of this case, we are not pursuing criminal charges against Josh Jacobs at this time. You could even say at this time, but you're letting us know we've done our case. New evidence might come to light that could change everything, but right now that evidence doesn't exist or it has not been brought to our attention. So we are not pursuing this further. That message alone would make me go, okay, there's a little bit of closure. Let's get back to running some drills. The fact that there's nothing from them, from the other side of this, makes me just kind of sit here and go, all right, so what's going on? Like, are they scheming on the back? Are they waiting for to get convince a witness to testify? Is there something else going on? And I feel like I'm kind of alone on this island of worrying about that while everyone else has just kind of been like, they said business as usual. Guess it's business as usual.
I think my default setting on something like this or just in general is like, all right, I'll react when something happens rather than kind of waiting for something. I also am a big supporter of the innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, as it should
be. So for me right now, he's completely innocent until charges are brought forth, and then eventually, we can go down that line. But until then, I'm just like, I guess I am acting like nothing happened because according to them, at this point, nothing has happened.
And right, it's just the closure aspect of it that doesn't exist. And if it never does, boy, that's going to be frustrating. We're going to talk about this more with Andy Herman of Pack a Day Podcast in the 8 a.m. hour. So stick with us there. In the meantime, on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, we've got a couple of questions here for you, Aaron, but I'm going to wrap them up into one because it seems like a lot of people really just want to make sure that you are a Wisconsin sports fan and not a Bears or Cubs fan saying we have too many of those already on the station.
Yeah, I just looked at it and someone's asking, they're claiming Tommy is a Cubs fan.
Yes. Yes.
I'll tell you, he told me in secret the other day he's a Cubs fan. He's a huge Cubs fan.
Oh God, please do not start this. He will. I'm surprised he's not. Give it 5 minutes. He'll be storming in the studio. Get him out of bed.
Yeah, no, I am 100% Wisconsin.
Okay, there we go.
Yep, Brewers, Bucks, Badgers, Packers, wherever you want to go. I do have some other fandoms as well around, some secondary fandoms. I'm a big North Carolina Tar Heel basketball fan.
Okay,
got that from my dad. Badgers are number one, and I'll root for them if they're playing the Tar Heels. But the Tar Heels are a pretty big fandom for me.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. That'll be fine.
And otherwise, I mean, I like Oregon football a little bit. That was a big Marcus Mariota guy for me. So they're a little less.
So college.
Yeah,
some secondary
colleges.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't really have a secondary MLB team like or an NBA. I'll say this: NBA secondary, whatever team LeBron is on. Is where I go for
big LeBron
for
guy.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
There we go. There's our first piece of Aaron fandom that we can all hate on. He's a big LeBron guy.
Yep.
All right, that's not bad. Well, you said you're a Brewers fan.
Yeah.
And which means you enjoyed the series against the Rockies. Specifically, there was one call that Jeff Levering had on TV, which I don't know how you can hear it and not smile. We'll play that next for you in the most electrifying sound of the day here on Inside Wisconsin Sports Today with Josh and Aaron live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
It's time for
The most electrifying,
sound of the day
the most electrifying.
on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Brought to you by Best Electric. Learn more at bestelect.com. Don't stress. Connect with the best.
First pitch hammered out to left field. It is way back, and the Kraken rises from the depths of the sea. His first home run in almost 2 months, and he gives the Brewers the lead.
Just an amazing call. Gary Sanchez going yard yesterday with the call from Jeff Levering on Brewers TV. Is the most electrifying sound of the day, brought to you by our friends at Best Electric. Remember, no job is too big or too small for Best Electric. Don't stress. Connect with the best. Call them today or visit bestelect.com. I don't know.
Is that
Aaron,
planned?
I don't.
It's got to be, right? That was so smooth.
He had that in his back pocket just waiting.
Yeah, I mean, right? Because the
Kraken rises.
So smooth, right? I mean, he's at least thought about it before.
I'm sure he has. Listen, the next time we get to talk to Jeff Levering, I promise you, I will bring it up. I will talk to him about that call. But also, Jeff's just that good.
Yeah.
Like, we are so lucky to have Jeff Levering. I know people are like, we have Brian Anderson. Yep. BA is doing a lot of national stuff too. Having Jeff either on TV or on radio for every game is such a blessing.
Brewers TV and radio. I think everyone involved, I think we're pretty lucky with what they have. I mean,
Absolutely.
Other teams, they have great broadcasting crews as their main guys, but there's some people who fill in that I'm just like, yeah, Brewers, they can rotate whoever the heck they want. It's like, yeah, good broadcast.
Yeah.
Every time. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I agree with you 100%. And to me, just the passion that Jeff puts into those calls, like especially those home run calls, I love it so much.
Have you
like
seen
you can feel it?
I think someone made it was a TikTok of it, or maybe like an Instagram reel or something, kind of poking fun at Jeff because he has the call where he goes, and grounded to short, Arcia, throws the first and got him. It's like, and gone. He just keeps dragging out, and there's someone poking fun at him like that he does that a lot, and he commented like something like, oh yeah, I definitely do that, or something like that.
Yeah,
so
of course. He's even
he's
humble.
a good sport about it
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Jeff's the best. That call was amazing. And Gary Sanchez with a huge shot yesterday to give the Brewers the lead, and then they end up just running away with it.
Yeah.
Which, man, do I prefer those games to the games on Friday. But one of the best things that came out of the weekend was a moment with the Miz on Saturday. Miz has another amazing start. The guy is just incredible, and he keeps showing us things every time he's on the mound that makes us go, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What do we have in this guy? The
103.7 the other day.
I mean, literally, the dude he's got it. But a very interesting moment that happened in that game on Saturday where he told Murph no. He had a little bit of an attitude. He said, no. We're going to talk about that in the Malott Meats Morning Mind Dump. We're going to hear the moment. We're going to hear his explanation in the post game. And we're going to ask, did Miz earn the right to say no? Because that was certainly different. And how are we feeling about Miz in general after that? We also, of course, want you to chime in with anything you need to get off of your chest and out of your head this morning. It's the Monday edition of the Malott Meats Morning Mind Dump. You want to get it out of your head, off your chest that Trevor's not here. Go ahead, text it in. It's a Trevorless Monday. It's a good time to do it. We're looking for your text on the Nicolay Law Fan talk and text line 414-677-1250. Coming up in the Malott Meats Morning Mind Dump here on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, today with Josh and Aaron. Of course, don't forget as well, in the 8 a.m. hour, Andy Herman from Pack-A-Day Podcast will be joining us as well. Very excited to talk to him about not just things happening with the Packers as they start mandatory minicamp, going to get his opinion of how everything went at the softball game, and the Bears getting a second opportunity here to move to Indiana. It's going to be a blast. Stick with us. Hour 2 of Inside Wisconsin Sports coming up next, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa!
That's a shot into left center field. Vaughn's going to end up at third base. At least he might get a chance to score as it goes all the way to the wall. Vaughn will be waved around third. He will score, and it's a 2-1 ball game. Vaughn into right center, falling fast. McCarthy can't get it. It's going to go all the way to the wall. Contreras around third base. He's going to come around and score. Vaughn chugging his way for third. He is there. First pitch hammered out to left field. It is way back, and the Kraken rises from the depths of the sea. Ground ball first base side and through. Terang comes up with a 2-run single. Sanchez rips one down in the corner in left field. Contreras will jog around third and score. Vaughn will stop at third base. And he drives one to center. Back goes McCarthy. Still back. He leaps. It's off the top of his glove and off the wall. 1-run scores. Sanchez lumbering around third to score. Mitchell ends up at third base with a 2-run triple. Struck him out. The ball game is over. The Brewers have swept the Rockies in Denver for the first time since 2014.
Crazy to think that 2014, the last time that the Brewers swept the Rockies in Colorado. I feel like the Rockies haven't been a great team
They just
that much.
don't play well at Coors Field. I mean, that's just what it comes down to. I mean, they are historically awful at Coors Field.
Yeah, which is weird because usually that's where the balls are flying the furthest. They took care of it this weekend.
Yep.
Big sweep of the Rockies. We sure like that, especially capped off with that 12-4 victory yesterday. Welcome in, everyone, to Hour 2 of Inside Wisconsin Sports. Today with Josh and Aaron. Aaron, the new guy, getting thrown into the fire immediately by Sparky.
I am here.
During the break, Aaron said, yep, this is definitely the earliest I have been up to do a shift of radio.
Yeah.
And I said, yep.
By a couple hours.
It's early.
Yeah.
It is early. But we are happy that you're here, Aaron. We're also happy that all of you are here with us as well. We want to hear from you on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. Let us know, specifically in this upcoming segment, as we do every day at 7 a.m., what you need to get out of your head and off of your chest. We call it the Malott Meets Morning Mind Up.
I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me.
The coffee is kicked in. We're awake and ready to roll. Let's get some things off our chest and out of our heads.
You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you. It is an up at dawn, pride-swallowing siege that I will never fully tell you about, okay?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
We got no food, we got no jobs, our pets' heads are falling off!
It's time for the Morning Mind Dump, presented by Malott Meats. High-quality meats at a fair price, safely delivered to your front door. To learn more, visit WisconsinMeatMarket.com. Experience the power of the family meal with Malott Meats on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
That's right. Trevor's not here. He might be at home this morning, frying up some steak and eggs. No, I'm just kidding. He's at a golf outing, but otherwise he probably would be. WisconsinMeatMarket.com, where you can go to get the finest quality meats delivered right to your door from Malott Meats. Bringing you the Morning Mind Dump today and every day here on Inside Wisconsin Sports. And the big question for me today, the big topic is the Miz. Just what Miz has done. Very excited to get into this, but we want to know as well what you need to get out of your head and off of your chest on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. The 920 said, hey, do you guys feel Council is on the hot seat in Chicago? I did. I definitely did when they had that 10-game losing streak. There's just something about losing that consistently that makes you wonder, like, man, could this happen? Now that they've gotten it back, though, like, I know they're still not playing good baseball, but I don't think that there's a midseason firing at all.
I don't think that seat is any bit warm.
Don't tell me that. I'd like it to be warm at least.
Well, I mean, I would like it to be, but I don't think it is. The Cubs don't operate like that. They cry poor a lot for a team that's in a very, very large city compared to many across Major League Baseball. And Tom Ricketts down there doesn't play games like that. I think next year they won't fire the manager going into 2027, a year that maybe is up in the air for being played or not, or limited. I don't think they would be willing to pay a manager to not coach that year when maybe there's not baseball anyways.
Well, that's a good point too. But also, you know, I don't know.
It'd be fun to see him get fired.
It'd be a lot of fun.
What, 2 years, 3 years?
Especially too, just knowing that the Brewers are also doing well. Like, I don't think that we would be thinking that way if the Brewers and the Cubs were both at the bottom of the division, and like the Cardinals and Pirates were running away with it.
I think we'd both be in the same spot of like, so
right. Because just as much as we'd be able to say, man, sucks for Cubs fans, Cub fans would be like, yeah, sucks for you too. What are you guys going to get rid of Murph? Shut up. And be like, oh, okay. But we don't have to worry about that, at least not right now. And one of the reasons why we don't have to is because of Jacob Misiorowski. So first, I want to preface this by saying the reason why I think we're all so impressed with what Miz is doing is because of where he was last year. Like, just seeing a guy transition from what we saw out of his innings pitched, number of pitches in an outing, availability, command, all of the things we saw last season to what he has brought essentially from the word go this season is crazy different. The fact that he lost the pitcher of the month run in May, man, did that suck. Like, I get it. The guy from Philly also good, but you're just like, come on. Like, what else could you ask from the guy?
I could probably do a full segment on Sanchez versus Misiorowski and how Miz was just the better pitcher in the month of May, and that's not a bias thing. He was just better.
Sure.
I get it. Christopher Sanchez, 0 earned runs in the month. That's fantastic.
Right.
But let's not act like Miz gave up 3 or 4 runs. He gave up 1.
It was 1 run.
1
right.
run. So we're talking about 0 to 1. And the 1 run he gave up was on a little dribbler on an infield single. So we're talking about a minuscule difference between 0 and 1 run to begin with anyway. So, okay, we're comparing 0 to 1. Great. 0 runs, but Miz had more strikeouts, better whip. I mean,
all the other stats.
All of the other stats were all that is a better month. So I could do a full segment on it, but I won't. I'll digress and just say that Miz was the pitcher of the month.
Yeah, which, I mean, I absolutely agree with you. We don't get to vote, so it doesn't matter. However, my buddies and I were joking. The second he gave up a run in that start on Saturday, I went, oh, well, he's out of the running. Don't expect him to get pitcher of the month now. It's June 5th or whatever it was on Saturday 6th.
Yeah.
He's done. That's it. Nope. No way he's
it's over.
Now.
Yeah.
Yep,
well, Christopher Sanchez gave up a run, so maybe he's got a chance.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Maybe. The big thing that happened, though, in Saturday's game was in the 7th inning, Miz had runners on the corners, and it seemed like, all right, this is going to be it for Miz. We were all kind of waiting for Murph to come out. And then this happened where the Miz said, no, no, no.
Look at Miz. He is telling the dugout, no, no, no. Miz wants to stay in this game.
Oh, yeah.
And watching him go back and forth with Murph. You got it? Okay. This is great. He has grown up right in front of our eyes. Now you go out and you do the job.
He's earned it.
2 strikes, 2 men on for Colorado. Got him! Misiorowski strikes out 3 in the 7th inning. He finishes with 8. And a brilliant performance from Miz in Denver. First, he freezes Jake McCarthy. This is with a cutter, and then he finishes the job on Thompson with the express at 101 miles an hour. Mizorowski through 7 outstanding innings in Colorado.
I mean, that was awesome. Just the whole moment was awesome. Seeing him go, no, and then back it up.
Yeah, that's the biggest part, is that he backed it up. That he came back, strike out, and got out of it. Because if he doesn't, it might be a while until we get another Miz leash extension.
Yeah. I mean, he said what he wanted. He backs it up. He was asked about it after the game. Here's what he had to say.
I just know that bullpen's been taxed recently, and I think it was my job to get it to a point where they can throw one inning each and make it through a game, and without a lot of tax on those arms. So I think it was important for me to get through that and really succeed for the boys.
What does it say that Murph trusted you in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome that I've gotten to a point with him that there's trust in that, and there's a lot of faith behind me, and it means the world.
To lock eyes with Murph for 5 seconds there. What were your emotions? What's going through your head in that moment?
Yeah, it's just don't take it out of my hands. That's plain and simple. Of I want to get out of this inning for the boys, and figure out a way to succeed.
Don't take it out of my hands. Plain and simple. As much as I'd love to stand here, Aaron, and tell you, yeah, of course. Did anyone really expect Murph to not listen to Miz? Yeah, I absolutely expect Murph to still go out there and go, no, kid, you're done. for various reasons. One, because he goes, all right, there's I want him to win the game. I want him to be the winning pitcher. There's still a chance that he could make that not happen. But two, just because that's where this organization has been with Miz, of just being cautious.
Yeah.
Even this season, there's been times where we went, why did they take Miz out? And, then
I would say it's 4 or 5 times already this year for me of I would like Miz to go another inning, or at least give him a chance to go out there and, hey, base runner, then you'll come out. But it's probably been 4 or 5 times now that I've wanted him to go a little longer. But that's the case for years now, even back when Counsell was the manager. I'm always a proponent of leaving a guy in an extra inning, seeing what can happen. Maybe give him a base runner or and see what he can do.
Yeah, I was all for it. I was a big fan of it. And the only thing that has been frustrating to me about the whole situation and the growth of Miz is people already worrying about when we lose him. We know, we're Wisconsin sports fans, we're Milwaukee Brewers fans. We know that if things continue this way for Miz, he is going to get the biggest contract, huge. First of all, we have him for a long time. We have Miz for a long time. Second, these flamethrowers usually don't have 15, 18-year careers. So I'm very interested to see down the road where things even end up with Miz. But more importantly, the fact that Miz is pitching this way on a team that's a legit contender already is also a big thing. Like when the Royals had Greinke back in the day, they still sucked. You can have, we went through, we had Ben Sheets. We had Ben Sheets, who was great. Didn't mean that he was carrying us anywhere. The fact that we have a team that is built to have a legit chance to make it to a World Series, being led by a kid who is breaking all stats and history, is amazing. This is a beautiful opportunity, and just appreciate what it is when it's here. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. The Brewers don't do this. They always pull guys early. And I think it's time to give Miz the leash, because, as like you say, got him for another, 4 years now yet. But those 4 years will go fast. And you want to use the guy while you have him. There's the old story about a young kid getting a nice pair of roller skates for Christmas, and he loves them. They look great. Loves them so much he doesn't want to ruin them. So he never uses the roller skates.
Sure.
Then one day, a couple years later, I'm going to use those roller skates. Feet don't fit him anymore. He's grown out of them.
Yeah.
Never get to use the roller skates. You got to use Miz at some point. Otherwise, if you baby him forever and then he's going into his final year of his contract and you're like, wait a second, we never used this guy. He's still got a ton of bullets left in his arm for us. And by that point, it's too late.
Yeah, I mean, also, though, let's give credit to Matt Arnold and Chris Hook and Murph in general for how frustrating it was seeing the lack of usage from him last season to see where he's at now. I mean, they knew something. They were doing something right, slowly ramping him up to now see that he's to the point to where he's saying to Murph, no. I mean, he said no to Murph. Then he said no to Contreras because he said, don't you dare come out here for a mound visit. Nope. No. Then back to Murph. No. I mean, it was incredible.
It's good. I think because it tells us that he has the confidence that he can continue to do that. And I think this last month is a big reason why. I don't know if he gives up, 5 runs in the month of May and he has just a normal month. Maybe he doesn't have the confidence to say to Murph no. And maybe Murph doesn't have the confidence to allow him to say no. So I think this is great just because Miz is feeling it. And I know we know he's feeling it because it's been, 7 or 8 starts now of greatness. But if he has the ability to feel this confident and he has the ability to feel that he can continue in games like this, he's given the leash. I think that takes a lot of pressure off, right? Like, hey, this is still my game. They trust me.
Mm-hmm.
If you have trust, you feel a lot more confident and I think you're just going to perform better. So this is all extremely positive for me. And I think this is the way to go with Miz. Just let him keep going because he did not have his best stuff on Saturday.
No. And he's still crushed.
Right. And he was 4 hits, 4 hits, 3 walks in those 7 innings. So
8 strikeouts. Yep. 7 full.
It wasn't his best, but even not at his best, he felt confident enough and the Brewers felt confident enough. That was my favorite part of the Brewers this weekend, even though they outscored them by a ton and swept. The best part for me was watching Miz being able to convince him to stay out longer.
Yeah. And that will definitely be a part of the good, the bad, and the ugly of a Wisconsin sports weekend, which we will be doing coming up next here on Inside Wisconsin Sports. We want to get to some texts here from you on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. One thing we haven't talked about yet on the show that I wanted to get to quickly was Banana Ball was in town.
Yeah.
And I want to know if you went to the game, if you went to Banana Ball 2 days, right? They did two separate days of Banana Ball there at American Family Field. How was it? Did you have fun? We had 2 separate texts here. One from the 414 that said, mark my words. This is Timbo Slice from Stally. Said, mark my words, the MLB will lock out next year and Banana Ball blows up. Had a blast watching it this weekend. I found that interesting because to start the show, the first text we always get in literally before we even start is from, as I find it here, Jeff in Fox Point, who said, my family went to Banana Ball on Sunday. I get the entertainment, including the music, dancing, and games. That was good, but the actual baseball game was subpar. My kids liked Farty the mascot. Not familiar. My baseball playing kids were also confused by the whacked out rules. One and done for us. That Jeff from Fox Point. So if this was your first experience watching Banana Ball, I was not able to attend, but if it was, let us know. Did you have a good time? Was that worth the money, worth the experience?
I think it's probably going to be all based on how much of a sports fan you are. I think if you're a big sports fan, probably are not going to like Banana Ball. And if you are just a casual sports fan, I bet there's plenty of people who like it. I mean, they sell at all the stadiums. But I think if you're more of a casual sportsman, more of a casual baseball fan, then Banana Ball is more for you.
Yeah. Aaron in West Dallas texting us now on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line said, Josh, do you think the Brewers will offer a similar style contract to Miz, like 10-year, $300 million, or do you think they are waiting to see what happens with the salary cap discussion? I don't know that it has anything to do with the salary cap discussion. I don't think that in general, the Brewers pay pitchers.
They don't.
And even further, the type of pitcher that Miz has just a ton of risk attached to it. I mean, they took a ton of risk to get him to this point, but again, throwing 103, like we just haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen a person be able to throw those numbers, period, especially though consistently. And now we're talking about long-term, year after year. That's a huge risk that a team like the Brewers, I don't know that they can make.
Yeah, they'll never pay a pitcher big. That's fine. They are good enough at developing pitching on their own to always have some pitching depth, or so it seems. So I think they should just continue with the pay one big hitter and figure out the rest.
Yeah, it's just the pitching formula for the Brewers has always been find these guys, draft them, develop them, and then get the best years of them, hopefully, before they go and they sign huge contracts for a major market team.
Another banana
I'm
ball.
assuming that'll be the same here.
Another banana ball message. Banana ball was awesome. This is from the 262. We had a ton of fun, a lot more fast paced, tons of entertainment, and we're big baseball fans.
Okay, so they're big baseball fans and they still enjoyed it, even though, because I've seen clips and stuff that the baseball aspect of it is weird. I also saw we were trying to predict who was going to be like the celebrity person that was there. I saw Jeff Jenkins was there one day, so they had Jeff Jenkins there. That was pretty cool. But I don't know. I'm very curious to see. Everything that I saw from friends that went said they had a blast. It was a great time and that you got to check it out. I wonder if like the purest of baseball fans like just can't enjoy it because it's so different. I mean, it's a straight up entertainment product. I've essentially compared it to being the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball, right? Like it's there.
Yeah.
It's there for entertainment purposes. The rules are goofy. The points don't really matter.
The Globetrotters are awesome, but did you ever go see them? Or
yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you think in person?
They used to be here like for New Year's Eve all the time. We went a couple years.
What did you think about it in person?
I thought it was great. I mean, I was a kid.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really care about like the travels. I thought it was funny, all the stuff that they did and breaking the rules to make a funny bit. And, you know, all that stuff was there, but I went in with the entertainment value.
Are you looking to go to Banana Ball?
I think I probably will at some point, but
it's not at the top of your list. Like you're not
with tickets selling out and it being like so hard to go.
You
I
gotta
was like,
don't they have like a lottery? You got to just put your name
in. Lottery.
Yeah.
There's all these other things. So that was part of it. If it would have been an easier, like Banana Ball's coming, just let's go to it. Oh, okay. But like doing the lottery and everything else, I was like, yeah, that's all right. I'll just hear from everyone else first.
Corey Hart was the other celebrity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Corey Hart was there.
Jeff Jenkins and Corey Hart.
Yeah.
We were thinking that there was probably going to be a Brewer that made their way, or a Packer rather, but they did have the charity softball game in Appleton. So understandable that didn't play out that way. That was one of the good things that happened over the weekend on top of the Miz and the Brewers sweeping the Rockies. There's also some things that were bad and some things that were ugly that happened over the weekend that we're going to get to in the good, the bad, and the ugly coming up next here on Inside Wisconsin Sports Today with Josh and Aaron. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Welcome back to Inside Wisconsin Sports with Josh and Aaron. Aaron Morse, by the way, if you're trying to, who is this Aaron guy? He's the new guy. Aaron's the new guy. We're happy to have him along for the ride. Sparky throwing him in the fire says, nope, needy on a Monday morning to get up and do the morning show. Aaron, thanks for being here, bud.
Yeah, I'm just a random guy. I walked in the studio.
Yep.
And
I found him outside.
Yep.
I went, this will be great.
Yeah, you said, hey, I need someone to help me out a little bit today. Can you do it?
Just sit there so I can talk to somebody.
Yes, exactly.
Be great. Because it is a Monday. It's a Trevorless Monday. As we've started nicknaming taking off on Mondays as pulling a Trevor, which is fantastic.
Talking text line is all over him.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's so much fun. Appreciate all of you on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line chiming in for that or anything else that you guys want to talk about today on the show. We appreciate that. And this is the part of the show on Mondays. We look at the whole weekend. We do the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's focus on the good first and foremost. Biggest good of the weekend, Aaron, was that the Brewers swept. Obviously, as we go through the season, we've said time and time again, just keep winning series. If you win the series, I'm happy. If you sweep a series, I'm feeling great. Sweeps are always
if you win
best.
a series, you're going to win 100 games. If you win every series, you're going to win 100 games in a season. Yeah.
Right. But sweeping, especially bad teams, right? We talked to Tim Allen about that on Friday, who would usually be joining us at 8 a.m. By the way, he is in Vegas because he loves Vegas, and the Brewers are in Vegas.
Yep.
And so Tim Allen was like, sorry, not going to be able to do it. I got to be in Vegas.
Completely fair.
I think even he's not doing post game. I think
correct.
Tommy doing it with Charlie.
Tommy and Charlie. Yeah. Yep.
For post game, that'll be great. You won't want to miss that as well. But he said when he joined us on Friday, do you think the Brewers are a good team? Yes. Do you think the Rockies are a bad team? Yeah. Good teams beat bad teams, right? We saw that split between the Brewers and the Giants. The Giants also struggling mightily this year. That had us going, oh boy, man, we really let a few slip away here. Obviously, you're not going to win every game, but we thought 3 out of 4 is what should have happened in that series against the Giants. For them to bounce back, go into Coors Field, do something that they haven't done in over a decade is fantastic. That was the best that I saw over the weekend.
Yeah, especially coming off 2 losses to the Giants, 1-0, 12-9, 1-0. You had the go-ahead run at the plate.
Yep.
12-9, you had the tying run at the plate, and David Hamilton was a few feet away from tying the game. Oh, man, he split with the Giants. And, oh, man, like you probably could have swept them. And the weekend against the Rockies was a huge pick-me-up and a full reset. Like, who cares what happened against the Giants? They made up for it by sweeping the Rockies. Because you can't expect sweeps. You can expect winning a series, but you can never expect to sweep a series in baseball.
Yep, that's very true. The other thing that made the weekend good was Miz, which if you missed us talk about it in the Malott Meets Morning Mind Dump, just not only seeing him continue to dominate, but show a little attitude, right? Which I'm not going to lie. I think there are a lot of people out there, not me, like he's young. He's a young kid. But a lot of people see this and they go, all right, so we got some Pokemon loving nerd kid out here as like our ace.
Yeah.
But then you see him not just, it doesn't matter. You can't hold any of that against him, even if you hate it, because he throws 103 miles per hour and goes and puts up the numbers he is. But now you add in this little attitude from him, this confidence, man, my love for Miz is just skyrocketing. That was so good to see. The clip that we played earlier in the show of that, of just that breakdown by Jeff Levering of Miz saying, no, I'm not coming out, was outstanding. I watched it like 100 times. Not stop watching. I was getting so jacked watching this kid find his own and that confidence that is going to definitely help this team if he can continue to do what he's doing.
Yeah, if he does this, well, if he continues, I think there's a lot of thought maybe like, when is this going to end for Miz, or when's the bad start going to happen? When's he going to allow 5 or 6 runs? The way he's going right now, I mean, there's not really any wood in this.
Yeah, well, you better
right
find
now,
some,
but
don't pull a Trevor and jinx this thing.
yeah, but the way he's pitching makes you believe that this can continue, and it's not always going to be one earned or no earned. Or, it's not always going to be this good, but the way he pitches, the worst it could be is maybe 3 in 5 innings or 3 earned in 6 innings or something like that, which I think you'd take any time if that's going to be your worst.
And then we had the fact that this team is the fastest to 40 wins in team history, which is great and also super confusing. I can't wrap my head around the fact that this team is the
team with all of the blown saves early on in the year, and with Blake Perkins and Joy Ortiz and Luis Rengifo
and Sal Frelick struggling.
Yeah.
And the injuries and the random who the heck is this guy starting pitching starts.
Greg Jones playing for a week straight. Yeah.
Right. All of that. And yet that's the team. This is the team. Now, I will say the first to 40 wins is not a stat that is like tracked every year by teams of, who's going to be the first to 40? Like, I don't think they were the first to 30, right? Didn't hear that. Right. Didn't hear that stat. So I don't know what the line is of when we start caring about which team was the first to. But I'm just shocked that this is the team that made it to 41st. Hopefully they make it to 61st and 81st. It keeps going.
Yeah. They beat the old record by 4 games. The previous was 47 games. So 40 in 20 or 6. I have that wrong. 67 games. So they beat it by whatever it was. They beat it by 4 games.
Sure.
Whatever that was. So that was 2018 and one other year. So it's not even like it was one game or like 4 games.
Four
That's
games
a lot.
is a lot. That's a series.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. Essentially, they got there a series early, which is incredible. So that was fantastic. The other thing that we're looking for your help for in the good, the bad, and the ugly is if you went to Banana Ball this weekend, where are you putting that? Was it good? Was it bad? Was it ugly? What was your experience at Banana Ball at American Family Field this weekend? Annie chimes in on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line and said, I was at the Banana Ball game Saturday night. I totally agree with what Aaron just said about being a casual fan. For me, it was all about the energy, about the entertainment. The music was fun. It was more silly than competitive. Would I do it again? Probably not. I thought there would be more actual trick plays during the game. These players are definitely in great shape and have a lot of energy. I feel it is geared more towards young families. It absolutely is geared more towards young families. When you say trick plays like during the game, I guess that's the stuff that I see on social media. So maybe that type of stuff, like when they do flips in the outfield when they're catching a ball or whatever, maybe that stuff doesn't happen a lot in the game.
3 times a game maybe, and we see the 3 clips.
Right, and then that's just what we see. Another problem with social media, right? It makes you think that this is what happens all the time.
Yeah.
So I would say a very meh reaction from Annie to Banana Ball. I love this one from our friend Jacob in the van. He said, well, let's see. This weekend was pretty good. I got divorced on Friday. All right, stop the show. All right. You just said he had a good, hey, more power to you, Jake. Listen,
hey, if it's a good thing, I guess.
If it's a good thing. And then right after he goes, great. Then that night I went and saw comedian Mark Normand. Mark Normand's very funny.
Yes, he is.
And then Banana Ball on Saturday night, then a car show on Sunday. No complaints. Jacob in the van, how was Banana Ball on Saturday? Also, a lot of people chiming in that they were there on Saturday. Did anyone go both days? Was there a difference you saw?
I don't think there's any way, because if the tickets are so hard to get, I can't believe someone got both days tickets. But maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe we got like a media member like tuning in to the show right now, and they were there to cover it. Maybe they can share their thoughts or something, maybe.
Scotty Tiffany says she did not go to Banana Ball, has absolutely no interest, but I might see them if there is no baseball next season just because I'd be desperate. I suspect it will be wildly disappointing, though. Yeah, it's a good point. Just like someone said chiming in earlier just about the fact that, hey, Banana Ball might become huge if baseball goes on strike. Even if you're not a fan of the product in general, you're getting to go watch baseball in some form.
It was kind of like during COVID when there were no sports going on.
Right.
And like ESPN, the Ocho, they started playing some of like the rock skipping competitions.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah.
I would never watch this probably but
I am right now.
Yeah. At my parents' house, we just recorded like all of the ESPN, the Ocho shows that they were showing. And then we would just watch that stuff. Like that might be banana ball for people if there's no baseball. Like, hey, it's something.
Yeah. So let us know. Continue texting in on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line. Let us know. Did you go to Banana Ball over the weekend? It was Saturday and Sunday at American Family Field. And if you did, was it good? Was it bad? Or was it ugly? When we come back, we're going to get to the bad and ugly of the weekend that happened. And I'm not going to lie, the tease for the ugly, a lot of fun for us in the state of Wisconsin. Not so much if you bear down. We will talk about that and much more when we come back on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Josh and Aaron today. We are live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Queen of Spice is heating up breakfast at Wendy's with new items like their jalapeno sausage, egg and cheese biscuit, jalapeno bacon, egg and cheese biscuit, and a spicy side twist of jalapeno bacon seasoned potatoes. It's available for a limited time, so get a bite while you can and spice up your morning at Wendy's. Welcome back into Inside Wisconsin Sports with Josh and Aaron. Today, we're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We're going through the good, the bad, and the ugly, asking for your opinions on Banana Ball. If you were there, the 262 chimed back in to say there were 12 trick plays on Friday night, although I think it was Saturday. Wasn't it Saturday and Sunday? Friday, Saturday? I don't know. It said it's still high-level baseball, and these dudes can play. Is it the Brewers? Obviously not, but I'll tell you, in the ninth inning with the game on the line, the place was still packed full. Can't say that for most MLB games. The different rules do make a lot of excitement where otherwise boring plays like walks and fouls don't mean much, and the game itself isn't scripted. They're really playing to win. All right. So that's what I'm saying. I think a lot of it is just like the expectation, your mindset, how you're going into it from a mindset perspective is if you're going to enjoy it.
I think there's no in between also. I think if you like it, you'll like it, and if you don't, you don't. I don't think there's going to be much in between on Banana Ball.
That's very true. That might be the case. I'll tell you what, I as much as I love the win, I was not a fan of that game on Friday. That is the first one in our bad category from the weekend. Finish a game. Yikes. If you missed it somehow, the game went way later than it should have. McGill blew the save in the ninth. First of all, it was 3-1 going into the ninth, 3-1 Colorado. Then the Brewers in the top of the ninth put up 4. Then McGill blows it in the bottom of the ninth. Then the offense scores 4 more in the 10th. But then in the bottom of the 10th, then you put Ashby out there, and Ashby can't throw a strike and nearly blew the game as the tying run came to the plate. It's over. I get it. We move on. They won. That's what's most important. But boy, that was a hard watch.
Yeah, I did the Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show with Tim Allen on Friday night.
Oh, how's Tim?
He was a little irritated as the game went along, but also like we thought we were gonna go on the air at like 10:05-ish.
Yeah.
And we didn't, so we started at 10:30 then. And we didn't have the game end until like 11:05. So it was like an hour between when we thought we were going on the air and when the game ended.
Yeah.
Because we didn't think the Brewers, they had one hit going into the ninth inning. So we were kind of all over the place. And it made it a little tougher for us in the post-game show, but at least it was a win, I guess. But yeah, Ashby, his first 11 pitches, 3 of them were strikes. Trevor McGill walked in a run in that ninth inning. So you're going to have games like that, but when your offense is doing the business, the pitching's got to hold up their end.
Another bad thing that happened was PCA for the Cubs has been turning things around. Now, lucky for Brewer fans, that doesn't mean the Cubs have.
Yeah.
Cubs have still found a way to lose the last couple of series
8
they've played.
Consecutive losing series.
Love that.
So that might be
Love
ugly.
that for them.
Good for us, ugly for them.
But it seems like the PCA White Sox girl curse may be over as he's finding his own
career high 12-game hit streak for PCA.
And then when we go to the ugly, first Priester has been moved to the 60-day IL. I mean, I've completely given up that he's pitching this year. It's just the rehab did not seem like it was going the way it was supposed to. Now we're sitting here going, all right, just have the surgery.
It should have been over a month ago.
Right.
Thoracic outlet syndrome, just do it. Just get the surgery.
Just get it, be done, and we'll see you next season if there's
They've
baseball.
got pitching depth.
Now, that being said, then the Brewers made a trade for Joel Kuhnel from the A's, who they start a series with tonight. First and foremost, no idea, nothing about the guy. However, I know he was traded for cash, so we just kind of bought him. But Joel Kuhnel? Come on. John Kuhn and Joel Kuhnel? How is this not a thing? Joel
Get him
Kuhnel.
on the show.
Absolutely. That's got to happen. That'd be fantastic. And then finally, the last thing in the ugly is the Bears. This happened on Friday, but the Chicago Bears becoming the Indiana Bears seems more and more likely. This is crazy.
Hilarious.
Listen, Aaron, I was set, and I still am. I'm still being cautious here that all these talks with India, this was just legislature BS of strong arming them. And
it's
now
still going.
It's still going. And I'm like, how long are they going to let this go before they call the bluff?
When Green Bay is so
happening.
small, it's so poverty, blah, 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 blah,
Just
blah,
wild,
blah.
man.
You play football in Hammond.
I mean, and I've talked to a few people, including Rami Makloff, who you can hear from 9 to noon, about it, saying that, like, you guys don't understand that part of Indiana is essentially Chicago, essentially whatever. If the Packers were right at the tippy top of the state, but technically in Michigan, we would be losing our minds. Even if they were in like Racine, we might be like, that's too close.
Yeah.
The fact that they're going to not be in the state is just crazy. Now, that is not final yet, and that's an important note because
maybe this is the greatest bluff ever.
But let me tell you, if it is, like, they are really down to the wire, and all of the numbers that line up with this deal between do they go to Indiana or stay in the state of Illinois, it's all like, if you take the history out of it, Indiana is running away with this contest of who gets to be the home of the Bears.
On the Nicolay Law fan talking text line, the 920, I think this is an ugly introduction for him. He says, Rockies uniforms, yikes.
Yeah, a few people chiming in with their city connects. You think the Wiscos are bad?
Them.
Oh, you like them?
Yeah, I like unique uniforms like that.
Very interesting. If you disagree with Aaron, let us know now on the Nicolay Law fan talking text line, 414-677-1250. We're going to continue the conversation about the Bears possibly moving to Indiana and everything else happening at 1265 as the Packers start mandatory minicamp with our friend Andy Herman from Pack a Day Podcast. He's up next on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Josh and Aaron. We are live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa!
That's a shot into left center field. Vaughn's going to end up at third base. At least he might get a chance to score as it goes all the way to the wall. Vaughn will be waved around third. He will score, and it's a 2-1 ball game. Vaughn into right center, falling fast. McCarthy can't get it. It's going to go all the way to the wall. Contreras around third base. He's going to come around and score. Vaughn chugging his way for third. He is there. First pitch hammered out to left field. It is way back, and the Kraken rises from the depths of the sea. Ground ball first base side and through. Terang comes up with a 2-run single. Sanchez rips one down in the corner in left field. Contreras will jog around third and score. Vaughn will stop at third base. And he drives one to center. Back goes McCarthy. Still back. He leaps. It's off the top of his glove and off the wall. 1-run scores. Sanchez lumbering around third to score. Mitchell ends up at third base with a 2-run triple. Struck him out. The ball game is over. The Brewers have swept the Rockies in Denver for the first time since 2014.
Well, you love to see it, don't you? Love to see the Brewers doing things they haven't done since 2014. They take care of the Rockies after a split with the Giants at home. That was awesome. We love to see that. We love to hear from all of you on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line, 414-677-1250. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports. Today with Josh and Aaron. It's a Trevorless Monday on the show, but we're happy that you are all here with us. And we're also very happy to bring on our next guest from the Pack-A-Day podcast. It's our good friend, Andy Herman. Hey, buddy, how are you?
Fellas, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Oh, Andy, it's been too long. It's been too long, my friend. Happy to have you on the show, and found out from Aaron, who is our new guy. Aaron's the new guy, and Sparky's just completely thrown him into the fire. Nope, you're going with Josh in the mornings. I don't care. Get up at 4. Don't care. You're getting up. But you guys have worked together before. He said that he's familiar with your work, so introduction's not needed. So let's just get into it here, Andy. All right, first and foremost, were you freaking out at all when you saw Micah Parsons on the baseball field for the charity softball game?
No, I was not. Okay. I had a feeling he was going to, kind of take care of himself. Apparently, he's been doing some jogging. We see these players, like when they're returning from ACL, they usually look really, really good, doing some jogging and running. And it looks like they can play. They can't play yet, but I have a feeling the Packers were, comfortable with what he was doing out there. I had no issue with it. And he, other than one very slight jog to first base, there was nothing that I saw that was anything near concerning. So, no, I mean, anytime I always get nervous anytime they're out, doing the softball game, just because there's added risk of injury or whatever. Players get competitive, but yeah, I knew Micah would take it pretty easy in that situation.
Were you at the softball game, or were you taking it from afar?
I was not. I just saw some of the highlights afterwards. So no, I did not get to see it. I've actually, unfortunately, I've never been to one of the charity softball games. It's always been something I've been meaning to do, and I've just never been able to get out to it. Usually you just have stuff with family going on or whatnot. But yeah, no, I'd like to at some point, but no, I was not there, unfortunately.
Andy, we're talking to Andy Herman of the Pack-A-Day podcast on Inside Wisconsin Sports on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Andy, in a former radio life, I actually was an umpire at the game. I was one of the umpires that was down one of the lines. And I'll tell you, it is terrifying to be in that position because these guys, to your point, they are so competitive.
Oh, yeah.
So there was one where the first baseman, I forget who it was off the bag. And I had to say, nope, he's safe. And he turned and he looked at me and said, "You said what?" And I was like, oh, I have a family. Please don't. Please don't. Like, I was worried for my life. But they do have fun. But yeah, to your point, the competitive nature of professional athletes is on a completely different level. Earlier in the show, Andy, we had a segment we call I Have Questions. And the question that I asked today was in regards to this Josh Jacobs saga and this feeling from the fan base, from Packer Nation, as if it's over. right? This was like news that TMZ was covering when it first happened. Then it's, all right, we're letting him go because we don't have the evidence right now, to he's back at practice and we're saying business as usual, right? Matt LaFleur is saying it's business as usual. We're back at it. We still haven't heard from Josh Jacobs, but we also haven't heard anything from the DA's office of saying, all right, we've done our research and we're not pursuing anything at this time. And yet it seems like the fan base is going, nope, wiping our hands of that. We're done. Let's move on to drills and minicamp.
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably some wishful thinking in that. Obviously, his participation in OTAs does not necessarily indicate innocence. You know, at the end of the day, whatever happened, I'm hoping that truth comes out and whatever is supposed to happen happens in regards to that. From a Packers standpoint specifically, obviously is such a massive portion of this team and what Green Bay wants to do this upcoming season that I know it's easy to sort of wish cast and hope that, again, he's going to be out there and able to go. But no, until we get some sort of definitive report that either charges have been dropped or, you know, whatever the case may be, even then, even if charges are dropped, the NFL can still do their own investigation. There can still be a suspension in regards to this that could potentially cost him 6 games or more. So this isn't over. It doesn't necessarily mean, again, that he's guilty. It doesn't necessarily mean he's innocent. It means that this is still ongoing. Obviously, the Packers had some sort of, you know, whether it be faith or just inability to collect enough evidence to say like, hey, you can't show up to practice. I will say usually in these situations, the only thing that like expedites some sort of commissioner's exempt list or something like that is some sort of like visual evidence. If like, you know, when TMZ is reporting on it, if they all of a sudden have a video of it or a picture of her afterwards or something to that extent, that usually gets a little bit more messy. Right now, it's legitimately, you know, there were claims on one side, and then, you know, he obviously came out with his lawyers on the other side and said, you know, no, this is not what happened, etc. So it's, you know, it's just one of those situations that until there's some legitimate proof or until he's found guilty of something, I think they continue to let him practice. And, but no, I agree with you. This is not nothing at this point. It could be nothing, but we just don't know that.
It definitely, Andy, seemed to me like, and we talked to John Kuhn about it. Obviously, Kuhn on from 9 to noon. You said about the NFL doing their own investigation, and he said, like, listen, the district attorney's doing their investigation, the Packers are doing their investigation, the NFL is doing their investigation, and I'm wondering, is this a kind of a cat and mouse game of no one wanting to say anything before the next one, and does that create a question mark of a timeline? That was my big thing. Was I don't want this to be like they could be waiting in the locker room after family night or week 2 or having no idea. And it's not about did he do it or did he not? Obviously, on a different level, that's the most important. But just looking at the fact that we haven't heard anything from the district attorney to this point is why I think we haven't heard anything, an official statement from the NFL. And the Packers, the only reason why the Packers have done something is because they're working with the information they have of saying the initial charges were dropped. He's a free man. He's a part of this team. He's coming back to work. It's business as usual. But that doesn't mean that this isn't going to be a cloud hanging over the heads of at least a question as we go through the season.
Yeah. And that's the sort of crazy thing with this. And especially with the way, you know, the legal system works and they're backed up with a lot of stuff. And in high profile cases like this, you know, you usually want to make sure from a DA's office that your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed and that, you know, you've got everything lined up the way that you need it to, because everything's going to be, you know, triple examined by literally everybody in a type of situation like this. So yeah, I can imagine that this would take some time to put together, and it's still possible that, again, maybe there's not enough evidence to bring any charges towards him. That's a possibility as well. But I do think from a Packers and NFL standpoint, I don't expect them to act on this until the legal side acts first. I don't think there's any real advantage to them doing so. The NFL coming out and being like, yeah, be suspended forever or something, and then like the charges are dropped. It just, there's bizarro situations that would happen in that. So I would just say, in all likelihood, this is something that, you know, legal happens first. And then even again, if legal says, hey, yep, we have no charges, it doesn't necessarily mean that the NFL or the Packers don't do something about it either. Court of public opinion is still a very strong thing. If it ends up that the whole situation is so toxic, Green Bay could potentially have to move on one way or the other. And obviously the NFL, if they find something that, even though the legally charges weren't pressed or whatever, and all of a sudden something does come out, they could still have to act and have some sort of suspension as well. So it's just ongoing. We have no idea. It's sort of a cloud that hangs over everything, and we're just going to have to kind of take it one step at a time, especially until we get that initial legal determination from the DA's office.
Andy, one more on Josh Jacobs from me, and just the fan perspective of this. It's been about 2 weeks since the news came out, and there hasn't been much after that. After about 24 to 48 hours, there hasn't been much from a fan standpoint, because I think everybody's just kind of waiting for whatever it is. If we're talking about the fans and how they are taking this news, is we sit here and we just wait? Because I mean, what else is there to do, I guess, from a fan standpoint with the situation?
Yeah, I think that's honestly the best thing, just because, I've seen both sides of it where people want to presume innocence. And I think that is, again, a not wise situation, just because we don't know the details. And I've seen others that want to presume guilt. And I don't think that that's wise, because we don't know the details. I think we are in a society that, wants to jump to conclusions and have the first take on something, and, be aggressive one way or the other. Subtlety is not our nation's or our humanity's, strong suit at the moment. We have all the time in the world to react to this once all of the, more evidence comes out, and once there's a either a guilty or a non-innocence or whatever it might end up being, we have all the time in the world to react to that at that time. To try to do so right now, when even the DA's office can't figure out what sort of charges to do. And again, that's not to say innocent or guilty. I just think it's so premature, and it's just so unnecessary to sort of jump to those conclusions. So again, I just continue to root for the truth to come out, whatever that may be. And then, whatever penalties or non-penalties need to be because of that, that's certainly what I hope is the case, because it's obviously very serious allegations that initially came out. But to just, sit here and start judging or start presuming innocence, I just don't think that benefits anybody at this point in time.
How does that relate then to like football conversations? Because if we're at mandatory minicamp this week and we're seeing Josh Jacobs and he's performing at practice, and I mean, is there any hindrance there? Should we just have football conversations at this point around Josh Jacobs, and then whenever the next bit of news comes out, then we can hit that? I mean, there's always going to be this cloud when talking about football, but I guess for now in this week at minicamp, are we just talking football if it comes to Josh Jacobs?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can obviously multitask, or at least, have the ability to be aware of the situation that's going on. I don't think we need to ignore it in its entirety, just kind of as we're, talking about it here today. Obviously from a football standpoint, like I said, Josh is super important to this team. I'm sure Green Bay obviously would like him out there for the season. If not, you're probably going to have to reshape that running back room in some way, shape, or form. I don't think you can go into the season just trusting Marshawn Lloyd and Chris Brooks. So yeah, no, as long as he's out there, I think, us at practice are going to be reporting on what he's doing out there. It's not like every single time I tweet of like, Josh Jacobs ripped off a 10-yard run, but remember, he's got a legal proceeding, potentially in the background.
Right.
So I don't think it's going to be that everyone's aware of it. But again, I think at the same time, we're able to be cognizant of it, because again, there is that cloud kind of hanging over it.
All right, so we're talking about mandatory minicamp starting. And for me, Andy, the biggest thing was mandatory minicamp is just like the next box to be checked on our way to the start of the season. I know you're covering it every single day, Pack-A-Day podcast, but what is the biggest thing that we should be paying attention to, or that you are paying attention to with the start of mandatory minicamp?
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, these are things that as time has progressed, like OTAs and mini camps, I used to be like just geeking out on every little takeaway. And the more time you go on, again, I think Dan Campbell put it sort of best of like, they're out there in pajamas and sometimes there's only so many things. A lot of times it's just first impressions right now. I thought Chris McClellan had a really good first impression, I guess technically second impression last week in his second practice that was open to the media. He had a couple big plays in the backfield. One would be tackle for loss, and what would potentially have been a sack. But again, there's no pads on. Trench, warfare in this situation is very, very non-football football like when you don't have the pads on. So you have to sort of take all of that with a grain of salt. Watching Brandon Cisse and just sort of looking what his footwork looks like, little takeaways, even like Jagger Burton getting time with the ones. That's intriguing, but I would also preface it by saying a handful of years ago, Ben Braden spent all of OTAs and mini camps as a starter at right guard on the offensive line. And it was this huge deal. Everyone's talking about, oh my God, Ben Braden's taking a jump. He's with the starters and yada, yada, yada. Dude got cut before the start of the regular season, didn't even make it to the 53-man roster at the end. And he was starting in OTAs and mini camps all week long. So I think it's observing, it's watching any key takeaways. Again, anybody that's standing out, flashing, etc. But I think it is important to realize, like, even training camp, when you get to that point, there's still only so much that you can glean from it. But mini camps and OTAs are a different animal. You want health. You want players out there participating as much as possible. You don't want to see any injuries. And again, you're just kind of looking for those first impressions, anything that might stand out in a positive way.
Or negative way when it comes to Trey Smack. So that's the big one for me, was just, all right. So the big news was that he went 5 for 9 one day. Didn't hear anything else about him. And then now I'm going into minicamp going, all right, I just need to hear more reports from Andy and others saying, yep, he had a great day, went 6 for 6 today.
Yeah.
Are we in any way, shape, or form? I know it's so early, but the fact that we cut McManus are we in any way, shape, or form nervous about Smack coming out and not having a great day the first day?
He could have went 100 for 100 in the first 2 days of OTAs and mini camps, and I would be nervous about the kicking situation in Green Bay and about special teams in Green Bay. There is nothing that anything that they can do in OTAs, mini camps, training camp, preseason that would convince me that anything's going to go right for special teams in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I think there has to be some level of nervousness, but what I will say is, when you get a new kicker in, and certainly I'll let Mason Crosby, who will be on later today, I'm sure, talk more educatedly on this. But when you get a new kicker in, there's usually some sort of either timing mechanism or there's just a different way that you maybe want them to do something in the NFL than what they've done in college. You're working with a new long snapper. You're working with a new holder. That stuff takes time to get down. So while it's not super encouraging early on, I'm not willing to get too worked up over it quite yet, because I'm sure there are some tweaks that they're working with him on. And that stuff just takes time, and for him to sort of get his confidence with whatever tweaks that they're trying to make. So I'm with you. I would love for him to go, 6 for 6 each day in mini camp or whatever he ends up, kicking. And we get a little bit more confidence from it. His first day, I think he was 7 of 8, but they were all like 35 yarders. So even missing one of those is not super great. But yeah, I just think, we have to kind of take this one step at a time, and I will be interested to see if there continue to be struggles. Is there maybe an upgrade from Lucas Haversick that they bring in for maybe just a little bit more competition, or do they not even toy with that idea and just really go through all of camp really trying to get Trey Smack to be the guy?
Yeah, that'll be the story for sure. We're talking to Andy Herman of Pack-A-Day Podcast here on Inside Wisconsin Sports today with Josh and Aaron. Last one for you before we get out, Andy. Thanks again so much for joining us. The Bears had a fun weekend. The news coming out that the idea of the Bears moving to Indiana is becoming more and more a actual reality. Tell me where you're at on believing that this could actually happen, and your feelings overall about the Bears relocating out of Chicago.
Yeah. So when I first heard this, Bears potentially moving to Indiana, I'm like, this is insane. Like, you think of like a whole, state over and like how this is going to affect it. And then you look at where Hammond, Indiana actually is. And then you look at where like Arlington Heights is and some of those areas. And you realize that Hammond is not that far away. And it's literally, very, very close to Illinois and very close to Chicago. And you realize, like, from a pure, logistics standpoint, okay, it's actually not that big of a deal from that standpoint. They're not going to be called the Hammond, Indiana Bears or the Indiana Bears or the Gary Bears or the Gare Bears or anything like that. They're going to be the Chicago Bears. It's pretty darn close, obviously, to where they were going to be, even if it was in Arlington Heights. I don't think it affects the Chicago Bears. I don't think the Bears fans, other than the ones that maybe were in Arlington Heights or maybe a little bit closer, that wanted it in Chicago, I don't think it affects them all that much. I don't think they're going to lose a portion of the fan base from it. The Bears themselves are going to get more money from Indiana in this and help pay for the stadium, which they're going to be thrilled about. The deal looks very advantageous to the actual team by going to Indiana. The city of Chicago and Illinois has every right to still be able to do this. And they feel like financially they don't want to do this. So I don't know how upset they're about this, because I don't want to participate in this situation where they have to pay a huge chunk of the stadium. And at the end of the day, from like just an NFL standpoint, do I really care that the Giants are in East Rutherford, New Jersey, or that the Jets are in East? I don't. It doesn't affect anything whatsoever. So I think as a Packers fan, it's kind of fun to troll a little bit and be like, oh, you guys can't even stay in Chicago, or you can't even stay in Illinois. But I don't know who's really losing out on this, other than maybe, Illinois, some of the taxpayer and revenue stuff that comes in and whatever. But I don't think it actually affects all that much like I thought it would when I first heard of this situation. But I think there's still a very legitimate chance that this happens. And yeah, I'll just say, hopefully, whatever happens, it doesn't affect them. Because I think if you're a Packers fan, you want the bad guy to your good guy. You want the yang to your yin, and so on and so forth. You want the Chicago Bears to be a thing. And so I hope everything stays the same in that case, but I don't think this affects anything all that much.
Well said. Andy Herman, check it out. Pack a Day podcast. If you aren't already, what are you doing? Andy, we appreciate you joining us as always, and we will make sure to check back in with you as we go through mini camp, training camp, and more getting to the season. Thanks, bud.
Can't wait. Thanks so much, guys.
Andy Herman joining us on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. I'm not going to lie. His opinion there on the Bears moving, like, all valid points, but yeah, I want to be that guy that just gets to like pick on the Bears. I'm not, I know
it's a little disappointing.
Yeah. I mean, like he's right, but like now's not the time to be the voice of reason.
Now's not the time to be right.
Yeah. Come on, Andy.
We don't like being correct here.
He makes good points, and either way, I'm just excited to see how this finishes. I will say there are definitely more fans, than he's leading on that are upset that they're moving out of the state.
And just because he's right doesn't mean we can't troll. I will troll, and the trolling will happen. I will troll. It does not matter. Yeah. They are the Hammond Bears.
Yeah, there's definitely gonna, at least when Packers fans are talking about
even
them,
if I know better,
it's going to be the Indiana Bears.
Yeah,
for sure. Exactly. That's what's going to happen. We're giving the Bears a hard time. Coming up next, we're going to ask, should we be giving this Brewers team as big of a hard time as we are, as they are the first team in franchise history to reach 40 wins. And yet in those 40 wins, boy, have we complained about a lot of things and said there's a lot of things that need to change. Do we need to take a look at how we're viewing this team? We're going to do that when we get back on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Josh and Aaron today. We are live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Welcome back to Inside Wisconsin Sports with Josh and Aaron. Today, Aaron Morse is the, for all of you that tune into the morning show.
I am here.
He's the new guy. He's a new guy. Sparky throwing him to the fire on a Trevorless Monday. Trevor out helping at a charity golf event.
It's what you call on assignment, right?
Well,
kind of.
I don't know. People, it's very funny how when he's off on a Monday, everyone's like, yeah, we call that pulling a Trevor. I'm going to tell you right now, next week, Monday, it's my birthday. I won't be here. And yet they won't say that's pulling a Josh. They'll say that's pulling a Trevor, which is awesome, and I love it. We've loved all the support and the text from you on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line this morning, 414-677-1250. And we want a little bit more of that as we go into this conversation about just this Brewers team and our thoughts on them as they are the first team in franchise history, the earliest team to hit 40 wins. And we got a text in during the break, which is perfect here from the 414, that said, I think it's exciting that this Brewers team has already been so good, but still has a couple clear areas they could make a significant upgrade or two at. And I love that for this conversation. And Aaron, credit to you for having the thought here, but we look at what the Brewers have done, and it has not been all excitement and happiness and sunshine and rainbows. There's been a lot of frustrating moments as well. May was very fun. I'll give you that. But this team, fastest in franchise history to get to 40 wins. And yet we can look at a bunch of players on this team that are struggling, or at least were struggling and are maybe on the upswing. I mean, obviously, how many times already this season have we said, look at the left side of the infield, Rengifo, Ortiz, what are they doing? And then don't forget about Sal Frelick. We're giving Sal a pass. I don't understand why. Obviously, we talked a lot about Blake Perkins, but then you talk even about Hamilton. And then you look at like just the last 4 days. I mean, first of all, I tweeted this the other day at On Air Josh. I don't know what conversation happened to have David Hamilton find his power, but boy, did he wake up out of nowhere, huh? He had, I think he's got 2 or 3 home runs now on the year. He almost had the game tying one in that last game of the series against the Giants. Yeah. These are guys that we kind of went, all right, we got to make room. We got to get some of these guys out of here and make room. Rengifo back above 200 during the break. Aaron and I were having a huge party, realizing he's at 202 on the year. But more importantly, because I think we all agree that a 202 batting average and a 194 for Ortiz, these aren't acceptable numbers when you're facing the Dodgers, when you're trying to win a World Series. However, they're also the fastest team in franchise history to win 40 wins. Are we being a little too tough looking specifically at the numbers of some of these guys? And is part of that just the feel of the team vibe, even if they're not doing what they need to at the plate? If the team is winning, at what point do you go, I guess I don't care as long as you win? Yeah. As long as you keep winning, then your low average is okay. Just keep winning.
10 years ago would be fine.
Okay.
But since 2018, they've had 2 or 3 games total out of playoff contention. Total. Now it's time to buck up and win something in the postseason, do something in the postseason, make a World Series, right? The expectation is now there. It has been 8 years of really, really, really good success, and it's time for the Brewers to do something about it. And I think it's now reached a point where winning games isn't good enough on its own. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, and that's a fair point. We go to the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. Brad in the 414 chimes in. He says, we are being completely fair to the Brewers as fans by complaining now, because every year they hope someone will get hot like Winkler, Hoskins, or Rowdy Tellez. Yelich never shows up in the playoffs, and so, yes, they're going to need to find some bats. I think I agree. It's just, it's early. It's still so early. Things can change so quickly, but I can't also ignore the fact that this is they're winning.
Yeah,
we were really frustrated with this team, and they were in last place in the division. To look at how much this team has found their identity, found themselves, and gotten back to what they were last season in essentially 35 days is incredible. And so I'm just sitting here going, maybe as long as they're winning, do we need a guy right now? As long as they're winning, is now like we're pushing it going, why aren't they bringing Jet Williams up? Where's Cooper Pratt? What are we doing here? How many more times are we going to see these guys struggle on the left side of the infield? But they're winning.
So at some point, the conversation has to be, well, does the franchise really have to do anything about it? Like, does Matt Arnold have to do, like, at some point, sure, but you could make the argument, and I would disagree with the argument, but I recognize an argument, and that it is a very fair argument to make of saying you don't really have to do anything. They're winning. They're like 9-1-2 in their last 12 series.
Right.
I mean, so you don't have to do anything. You don't have to. I mean, you're winning games. You're not in last place anymore. You're up by 5 games in the division. You're better than 7.5 games better than the Cubs and the Pirates right now, who are in tied for third, fourth place. So, like, you don't have to do anything right now. And that's the tough part for me, because I know that they will eventually. Like, this team is not good enough right now to probably beat the Dodgers or maybe even the Braves in a postseason series, because minus 0.4 WAR Rengifo and minus 0.4 WAR Sal Frelick, and Gary Sanchez hitting 200, and Rengifo hitting 200, and Blake Perkins hitting 100, and Joey Ortiz hitting sub 200. All of those things are issues. And when you're facing the Dodgers, those issues have to be shored up, because the Dodgers will make you pay for having those issues.
Right. Scotty Tiffany says, when the Brewers lose, the talk is always about how much better we are than to lose to that team or in that game. I don't think it's as much as critics say as it is expectations for a very good team. Yeah, that's probably true. Bob in Minneapolis, who's always the most positive guy to talk about the Brewers, that's sarcasm, chimes in to say, sooner or later, that apple tree will end up empty. Yeah, I mean, I understand that to a certain extent. I don't know how many more times the bites of the apple can be a fair argument.
I also think at some point those apples do need to be finished. Like, you can't just always just take a bite at an apple. Like, there has to be, if you are any bit competitive and you're actually trying to be a winner and really, frankly, just not a loser, there has to be a time when you go for it. And the Brewers have done it at times where they've made a Sabathia or Greinke trade, but this might be the year where they do go for it, or maybe it's next year, but it's very soon. They have to go for it one of these years and empty out that prospect bin a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and I think the big argument here too is, are we just so antsy to see these prospects? I can't remember a time
probably
over the last couple of years more than now where we're talking about the prospects in the minor league system and like specific players in the minors like we are the last season and a half.
The franchise has never been better than it is right now, both in on the MLB team and in its prospects combined.
Yeah. Yeah, both. I mean, but like the names, right? Like, I mean, we obviously were all over Churio, right? We're talking about Jesus Medei, but also Williams, Pratt. Like, you go through this, Fisher,
loaded.
Lara,
I mean, it is incredible
Pena,
how loaded they are.
Like there's like 8 guys. We have enough guys.
There's probably 20 of them
in the minors that we talk about that could field a team right now.
There's probably 20 to 25 guys in this minor league system where there is a legitimate path to them being a very good MLB player. Not all of them are going to hit, that's for sure, but there's at least a legitimate path to see some of these guys like Josh Adamszewski, who's one of my favorite prospects. He's in single A right now, probably going to be in double A soon, but like there's a legit path for him and there's a legit path for all of these guys. Half of them are going to hit at some capacity. The other half probably won't, but there's a lot of guys who could, which is really exciting. And we love exciting stuff, which is probably why we are a little jumpy and itching at getting these guys up.
I think the other thing to think about too is it's not like the Brewers aren't bringing guys up. They're just bringing them up because of injuries. They're bringing up guys because they're forced to, and that's why we're mostly just seeing it on the pitching side. Don't forget, like Brandon Lockridge is going to come back at some point this season, right? I think they said end of June, early July was the timetable they were looking at, maybe
probably,
for him.
I think probably July. Here's another thing on that front is they don't have to rush him back because it's not like they need him.
Right.
Like they're winning. So it's like you don't have to rush back a Brandon Lockridge. Just kind of hang on. I know Blake Perkins.
But my point on that is you're talking about, well, when are they going to bring up and give Jet Williams a chance? When are they going to bring up, they gave Cooper Pratt this contract. When are they going to get him a chance? They still got Lockridge who's going to come back. They have guys that they know that are established that were doing well on this team that then fell off due to injury that are going to be coming back. They're going to take a spot.
We're getting to a point where we're going to have to, it's going to be the red line time. Do you call up Pratt and Williams and whoever else, or do you just wait till the deadline, figure out what you have, then call them up? Or do you want to see what you have before the deadline in those guys to know if you do need a big splash? Because what if Pratt comes up and he hits 320?
Right.
Then you don't necessarily need to add a bat or a big bat on the left side. But you might not know that if you don't call him up. But also, they don't need to call him up right now. So maybe they're like, well, let's just wait till the deadline and get – I don't know. It's a whole lot of cat and mouse back and forth, and I'm sure they're doing all of these discussions each and every day.
Yeah, well, of course they are. And the thing is that if they're in the system, the trade deadline doesn't play the same role, right? Like then there are different days that are set. I know for a fact, though, that, there was a story, maybe it was from Ken Rosenthal, on the first date that they could trade Rengifo would be, I think, June 16th.
Yeah, it's coming up in like 10 days or something.
So if that's the case, then who knows? Maybe that's the day that they do that. Maybe they're looking at Rengifo and they're going, oh, thank the Lord that he's starting to show a little bit, because then we can trade him, bring up Pratt, and make some of these moves. It's just hard for me now when I take a step back to still be in that mindset when they're winning. Now, if they go out against the A's and they lose this series, I could be right back to saying, see, this is the case. But when you see and when you take that step back, and to your point, you said, 9-1-2 in the last 12 series that they've had. When you take a step back and you look at that, and you look at where they were to where they are now in the standings, sometimes you don't mess with success, and you dance with the one who brung you. You just keep it going.
It's a really tough conversation to have right now because they don't need to make a move right now, but we all know down the line that they will have to, because we watched what happened last year in the NLCS, and that's going to happen again probably if they don't improve the team, and maybe not to the same extent, but they do need to improve if they want to get past the Dodgers. It's as simple as that. I don't think I'm ruining anybody's world right now.
No, it is. I just, for right now, for it being June 8th, I think that maybe we're okay. I don't know that we need to bring Skubal in right now. I don't know that we need to go find that bat.
We've got almost 2 months until the deadline.
We got a little bit of time. We are running out of time here on Inside Wisconsin Sports. We're going to bring in and do a little bit of crossover with our friends from 9 to noon. That's coming up next. We are live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Stay here. Hey, did you know that any youth sports player can score a free small classic Frosty anytime they visit Wendy's in their sports uniform? That's right. Just stop by after practice or with your team after a game. Who doesn't love a Frosty? Welcome back into Inside Wisconsin Sports with Josh and Aaron getting thrown in the fire. Aaron Morse joining me this morning on a Trevorless Monday as we cross over with our friends from 9 to noon and bring on John Kuhn. John, how was your weekend?
It was good. A little father-daughter camp up in Suring, Wisconsin. Got to spend some good quality time with the girls. Do a little jumping off rocks into water and catching frogs and turtles and racing them and just having a good old time.
So the big time I thought about you this weekend, John, was when seeing all the clips from the charity softball game that was taking place in Appleton and seeing Micah Parsons out there running around, being competitive just in nature, right? About a fun event. A lot of us going, okay, just be careful. For the love of God, please be careful. But I bring you up all the time of just, you can't turn it off, right? Like these athletes can't turn it off, even if it's for a charity event.
Yeah. I mean, you do your best to slow it down, but that's why I said I didn't want to see Micah Parsons out there. I didn't want to see him out there doing anything. Now, how much did he do? How much did you get to see, Josh? I didn't really check in on the charity softball event. What was he out there doing? Was he diving for balls?
No, so he was out there as the coach of the team, right? Because he was in charge of the defense. He was out there chucking grounders to get the infield lined up. He got frustrated with his pitcher at one point after giving up a grand slam that he went out there, started pitching. There was even one time where he ran to first to try to cover the bag. And it was like, okay, all right, your team's down by a bunch. And let's just remember, this is all just for fun, Micah. This is all just for fun. It was a little bit different of a feel than when he was at the Pro Bowl in the scooter, like that. It was like he was just having fun. Now he's running around a little bit, and it got you scared. It got you scared a little bit, but that's that competitive nature that's hard to, as you said, to slow down.
I wouldn't want to see him running to first base. That's shocking. That's shocking. That's, I know it's just a weekend thing and they're just trying to take care, of a charity event they've signed up for months, if not years in advance. And boy, that's just scary. That's not something I want to see as a fan.
Sort of like okay from the Packers, right? He's not just going out there on his own and doing that. They had to have known that at least that's a possibility, right?
I mean, they knew he was signed up for the game. They knew he was headlining the game. He was back in town to go to the game. Last week was his first week of OTAs, first week of the offseason program in Green Bay. I would imagine he would stick around for another week or two until Matt LaFleur sends the veterans home. But when you see him show up, he's heading down there. I'm sure they had a little word with him, like, all right, let's just pump the brakes here. Let's make sure we're not playing.
Take it easy.
Let's make sure we're not chasing fly balls out in the outfield or legging things out to first base here. But it sounds like he was out there running around, so might have to have another talk with Mr. Micah Parsons.
Yeah, tell him to calm down. John, what's coming up on 9 to noon today?
Well, obviously, we got to talk about the alien, and that is Jacob Misiorowski and what he is doing this season, telling Pat. Could you ever imagine a pitcher telling Pat Murphy at the very young age of Jacob Misiorowski, no, you're not taking me out of this game? I mean, that was a staring contest of epic proportions.
It was incredible. The attitude and the confidence from Miz right now is on a completely different level. We're looking forward to that on 9 to noon. Thanks so much, John. We will hear you soon. And thank you, everyone, for joining us on today's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Josh and Aaron. Aaron, thanks so much for being here, bud. Appreciate
it was awesome.
Everyone that missed Trevor, he'll be back. It's a Tuesday, so he'll be back tomorrow. And hopefully all of you will be as well. This has been Inside Wisconsin Sports, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We'll see you tomorrow because we are not done yet.